Without that secrecy, as I said, we'd find out. Now, there's another problem. How do you abduct somebody right in the middle of the day, 12 o'clock noon in London? People don't see it. There is this invisibility that is part of the secrecy program. And even to say that seems like I'm covering my tracks. Well, they have to be invisible, otherwise people would see them all the time, you know. And so the fact is that I look at this and I think to myself, this is future technology. This is just future technology. Not only that, but the invisibility factor is involved with simply going directly through closed windows or walls or ceilings. Now here's an interesting aspect of that, and I've talked about this many times before. One of the first times I heard this, a person says these beings are in my room. This was did in fact happen at night. She got up out of bed, and there were these beings there, and they walked her towards this light that was coming through a window, and she went right through the window. I said, whoa, wait a minute. Let me bring you back a little bit to, they're bringing you towards the window. Do you open the window? Do you open the window? Now, they immediately say, no, I don't open the window. I don't open the window. I say, well, do these beings open the window? No, they don't open the window either. I say, well, does the window in some way open by itself? You know, and they say, no. They say, I think I'm going right through the closed window. It's closed. It's not open, and I'm going right through it. Now, if this were psychological, they wouldn't say that. They would say, of course I open the window. Because to say I'm going through the closed window puts a barrier to belief to the story that they're concocting. There's no reason to concoct the idea, to invent the idea that they're going through a closed window, when it makes it much more believable to say I opened the window and went through it. Even if they said the window was closed, a significant portion of people would say, well, of course I opened the window. That is not something that we hear. I don't think I have ever heard that. They always say, I'm going right through the wall, or I'm going through the closed window, even though they understand that saying that weakens their story if they're making it up. And if they're making it up unknowingly, they wouldn't make up that fact, nor abnormally. It'd still be a variation, yes and no, I do open the window, but they don't say that. When they go out of that window, they're not seen outside. I've had people I had a guy who was abducted in the middle of the day from maybe this was in the evening, from the London Hilton. And nobody said anything. There was no reports, nothing. Believe me, if you saw a guy flying out of the window and flying up as opposed to flying down, you'd tend to remember that. Do you know what I mean? Especially if there was hundreds of people who saw that. It would make the news. But this is not seen. I had a person at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. He was studying in a dorm room at a major Ivy League university. He was in his dorm studying. He was taken directly out of the window, right out of the dorm. He looked down. You could see students walking back and forth. Nobody paid any attention to him flying out of the window and into a UFO. This person achieved his doctorate at the time, later on, and I worked with him after he achieved his PhD. A very, very sane, sober individual, to say the least. This is one of the we did 10 sessions together. One of the accounts that he talked about. Everybody says that. I wish that they didn't, because when I have to explain secrecy and invisibility, It weakens my case, obviously. But the fact is that they all say that, and there are no exceptions to it, period. And there has to be that invisibility, part of secrecy, or we would stop this phenomenon. Everybody would know about it, and it would stop. This has to be. You see what I mean? We're not dealing with something that is just, why are they secret? Without secrecy, the program comes to a halt. We would find ways to stop it, and that includes people seeing other people being abducted, although it does happen from time to time. People are abducted in groups, and sometimes people will see them being abducted. Now the question is, why do people sometimes who are not abductees see somebody being abducted? It's an error. This is technology, but it is not 100% perfect, and that's why we're talking about it. There is a low-level error where people do remember things that have happened to them. Small percentage, but they do remember. And other people will see things. And I think that seeing UFOs is also part of this error rate that's built into it. Because people don't see UFOs in the abduction phenomenon. Therefore, we know that the number of UFOs flying around are far, far more than what people report. And what they're seeing, I think, is error. Because UFOs should not be seen at all, in my opinion. I have no evidence for that. It's just a logical progression. It's extreme. So, people don't remember, and it is invisible, and it takes place over a long period of time. Now, the question then is, when did this begin? I don't know if that's the question you're supposed to ask me. The Roper poll suggests that we did a Roper poll that suggested that there was 2 to 5% of the American public, and therefore probably a global population, although I can't really say that. 2% of people are abducted. The question then is, and this is a loaded question because it's a false question, and I'll explain the problems with it in a second. If this is intergenerational, and if this is a phenomenon that spreads throughout the society as well, how long will it take for everybody to be an abductee? Over the generations, if it keeps spreading, everybody will be an abductee eventually. I had a mathematician work this out for me. It depends on how many people you start with, and I can't exactly remember the number, but he figured 7 generations. Now, if you say a generation is 20 years, that's 140 years. Let's just say it's 10 generations, and let's say it's 30 to 35 years to be on the safe side. That means that this started to happen in the year 300 AD. By the year 500 AD, everybody in the world would be an abductee. And if it started to happen in the 14th century, by the 17th century, everybody would be an abductee. But we know only a small percentage of the population might be abductees, so it couldn't have started that long ago. Therefore, we can date it back through that, and also through family history, and through abduction events themselves.
When people describe seeing their babies by the aliens, do they all describe the babies looking the same, i.e., more like themselves, humans, or more like aliens? What do they describe?
When people are shown babies, they are shown a variety of different looking babies. Some look quite alien, some look sort of in the middle, some look quite human, and that's about it. Every once in a while you get some that really do look human. I think that they are human babies, but there's oddities about them all. So it's a variety. There's a sort of what I call early stage hybrids, middle stage hybrids, and then late stage hybrids. And there might even be some that are even later than late. So yeah, there's a continuum essentially of what people see, but they also see them as toddlers, 3, 4 years old. They see them as young children, 8, 9, 10 years old. They see them as adolescents, as young adults, as adults, and then not as older adults for reasons that we don't understand. We don't know why, but not as older adults.
Great. Number two. Do all the people describe the aliens looking the same, or are there different sizes, different colours, or different types of aliens?
When people describe aliens, what they're looking at primarily is insect-like aliens who look like praying mantises. I'm now thinking of calling them insectolins. They see tall gray aliens. By tall, I mean, let's just say 4.5 feet. They see smaller gray aliens. By small, I mean 3 to 3.5 feet. And then every once in a while, they'll see what they call a reptilian-like alien, which I'm beginning to call a reptilin. And this is unusual, it's rare, but it does exist. We don't know fully where on the line of function or authority these reptilian-like aliens exist. The point is that all these beings are on board the same object, they're all doing the same procedures, all working for the same goal. That's the bottom line. Unfortunately, on the internet, because of cultural reasons, the insectolins, as I say, have gained dominance. And you see insect-like aliens all over the place on the internet, primarily because of biblical, particularly First Testament biblical allusions to reptilians and reptiles in other religions as well. And so it's become a major sort of phenomenon on the internet. In reality, it's rare. Let's put it this way, it's uncommon. It's uncommon. Most people will not see reptilians except once in a while, and that's it. Interestingly enough.
Great. Next
One last thing. When I have people describe reptilian-like aliens, they're sort of all over the map when they do that. Some look like alligators, some have scales, look like snakes, some look like this, some look like that, some look like gray aliens. And so, the question then is, how much is this confabulation? How much of this is the workings of the human mind as opposed to the workings of the aliens? We're not sure about that, but this disparate group worries me, I must say, because it suggests a memory problem sometimes more than the reality. Whereas when people describe the insect-like aliens, they're all describing the same thing.